Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome, alumni in the Philippines, in the US, and other countries. Welcome, friends and relatives. I hope you are as happy and excited as me to be here today. We journeyed together as one assumption to the life of Saint Marie Eugenie, covering the chapters of the book by Helene Marie Bory. The AAA, together with Sister Gertrude, put together the SME Kwentuhan Nanflix series, bringing the purple dots and the alumni together, talking about the life of SME and our own lives. In the first episode, we talked about the first 15 years of SME with Sister G. In the second episode, we talked about her teenage years, which was a time of her discernment and quest for vocation. And this was with Sister Cheryl and Sister Vicky and moderated by Sister G. In episode 3, it was about the gift, and it was the sisters in communities. And the sharers were Sister Lourdes, Sister Jo, Sister Akeneta, Sister Natrang, and moderated again by Sister G. Today, we do episode 4, which is Dare to be Holy. I think very relevant today, where there are so many distractions in our life. How do we dare to be holy? And I think we can maybe listen to the nuns to see how they tried or how they dared to be holy. So at this point, I would like to call on a sister who is no stranger to us. To most of us, we've likely had her as a teacher, a moderator, or an organization, or a retreat master. To me personally, when I look back, she was someone who guided me and my mom in my grade school years. Those were my troubled years, and I think she was a very young nun then. Little did we know that she would become superior of the Cana community in San Lorenzo, AC's college president, a counselor in Paris to the Mother General. She is now director of the Archdiocesan Office for Pastoral Care for Migrants and Refugees in Philadelphia. She was responsible in gathering all the nuns to share their insights in all our SME Kwentuhan Nanflix series. As always, she is tirelessly our teacher and guide. To introduce our moderator for today, everyone, let us welcome Sister Gertrude, Boris, or to many of us, Sister G.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Cynthia. Um, when I was just watching the videos and then the four sections we had, I want to say thank you. First of all, thank you to the Uncle Spiritual that Dr. Santos, Kasilayan, and Cynthia and Paji and Tina Nakpil, because this was really their idea. They really wanted to meet the sisters. And so we worked it out, and I said, let's do SME 101, a basic course that will cover the entire year of St. Marie Eugenie and significant moments in her life, and which the sisters in their present life are trying to live in their own way. And hopefully that will be our gift to you, our dear alumni. You are our favorite title that we give old girls, but really, old in heart, old. It's not old, but really old in the spirit that we all share together. And so tonight is very special because we culminate this in a finale, episode 4. And it is really a finale in a sense that we are going to have sisters who will be with us, and I would like to thank them. Sister Lori will introduce them later on because they said yes, and it's so beautiful when you see that. And so I would like to say thank you to you. And so the one who will moderate us tonight is Sister Lori, Sister Loreto, Angie, or rather, Annie, thank you, Annie to her friends. So she's going to bring in as a moderator our sisters through certain questions that they're going to share of her life. And so with this, I would like to now pass on to Sister Lori. Take it away, Lori.
Sister G, we still have a video before
Yes,
Sister Lori.
sorry. Yeah, before we get into that, our meta group, Joseph, I'd like to thank him, has given something that will bring the celebration of the canonization, not only in our memories, but in our heart. And so let us try to enter into this song. It carries the theme of St. Marie Eugenie, the earth is a place of God's glory. So happy anniversary to all.
Marie Eugenie lived for only one thing: to bring Jesus to the world around her. Her calling was to give birth to a new community who would dedicate themselves to make Jesus alive in the world. Marie Eugenie followed in the footsteps of Mary, Mary, the mother of Jesus. There can be no greater model than Mary. In Rome, on June 3, 2007, the Church confirmed that Marie Eugenie did this in an amazing way. The Church said, "Follow Marie Eugenie. She knows the way to Jesus." Thus, they proclaimed her saint.
What does it take to make a miracle? Tell me, how do I know? Is it my God from above with the strength of God's love and a heart full of faith that makes it so? In the face of a child, a mother's touch, a friend that believes when I haven't much. So I want to dance with the stars, I want to sing with the wind. For I have seen, yes, I have seen a miracle. Today, today, what does it take to make a miracle? Set my mind aside, it is my God from above, with the strength of God's love, when love and faith collide. Oh, I want to dance with stars, I want to sing with the wind. For I have seen, yes, I have seen, yes, I have seen a miracle. I
So, welcome everyone to the 17th anniversary of the canonization of Marie Eugenie. And Jenny, thank you very much for all those slides that you showed. It's come to life again. All right. So now, tonight, it is good to gather together, and we have very special guests, our own sisters, who will share their own experiences and wisdom gleaned from how they are living, daring to be holy. I will ask each sister to introduce themselves briefly, what community they belong to, describe their community, and what makes them happy, okay? And then we are now going to ask them to, when they share, they are allowed to speak only 3 minutes, not more, okay? And if they want to say something more, that will come later, okay? So now I am going to call first on Sister Maria Estela. Estela, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Shall I start now?
Well, are you ready to tell us?
I am Sister Maria Estela of the Child Jesus, 84 years old, 63 years since I entered Assumption as a postulant, 61 years as a professed RA. I belong to the community of Baguio in northern Philippines. There are 4 professed sisters in community. I am the oldest. Our mission consists of St. Martin's School with 105 enrollees, boys and girls, from kindergarten to grade 6. But what is very animated is Assumption Sabbath Place, which welcomes retreatants from all over the country. Priests, seminarians, professionals, religious men and women of different congregations, teachers, students, families, and friends. I am very happy in this community by simply contributing my presence and my prayer life. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria Stella. That was really very nice. Okay. Now maybe we can go to somebody in the Philippines, in San Lorenzo, Sister Maria Paz. Can you see my lips?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
May I start?
Yes, certainly.
Well, I am Sister Maria Paz, 91 years old. And I have been since 2015, I have been assigned here to San Lorenzo Community, which is a school community that caters to more than 2,000 students from prep to college. Though now a retired teacher, God is giving me the opportunity to still work for the kingdom in a small scale. Every morning, I stand at the gate 5 to receive the students coming to school. I greet them with a good morning and a smile, adding, God bless you. And some little ones even answer, God bless you too, sister. Isn't that wonderful to start the new day giving Jesus to others? It fills my heart with joy. At noontime, I go back for dismissal time. And I do believe my apostolate now is that of presence. Occasionally, I give talks to the kinder when, for example, when the feast of Saint Marie Eugenie comes, or Christmas, or any other activity, when they invite me, I do go to them. That's what makes me very happy.
Thank you. That was very nice. And then I think Jenny, her daughters, they also see you at the gate. Okay, now we go to the USA, the one who just celebrated her 90th, Sister Cecilia Urbas. An H, something like that, an accent.
I am Sister Cecilia.
So, Soror, what community do you belong to?
I belong. Wait. We have it here. I am originally from Iloilo. Very early in life, I was playing the piano. I am musically inclined. I took my degree in piano. I am a musician, and I was a mistress of class and taught religion in Assumption.
We cannot hear you well.
Okay. Since 1985,
Good.
I've been here in the United States. I was very happy with my first mission in Assumption College in Worcester, Massachusetts, where I brought the Assumption College students the first time in Mexico in an immersion experience. They experienced for the first time what a world experience of poverty was like and what it is to be in solidarity with them. We shared our common experiences, and this became into a valuable learning tool for a lifetime. Today I live in Lansdale, where I used to work with the parish, teaching RCIA, and got involved with the liturgy through my music. Today, I am retired. I am happy. I live with a community of sisters from different cultures. We will soon be moving to Philadelphia by July this year. I continue my Bible study class with a group of parishioners. I celebrated my 90th birthday the other day with our friends and neighbors here in Lansdale. Though I am retired now, I am happy that the gift of music remains with me. They appreciate classical music and the accompaniment I offer in daily divine office to the sisters. It is my way of loving, supporting, and giving joy to my sisters.
Thank you, Soror. Okay. So then we move now to Chaparral, New Mexico. Sister Anne Francoise. Hello, Anne.
My name is Sister Anne Francoise, originally from France, sometime in Africa, and then now in the United States, long ago. So my community in Chaparral, New Mexico, we are 6 sisters, and we live in a colonia, in a rural community near El Paso, at the Mexico-United States border. And we live in the middle of the larger community of our parish and of the people of Chaparral. Our Assumption family here extends to the group of Asuncion Juntas, Assumption Together, and to the AMA. So we are kind of an extended Assumption. The people of faith who surround us are like a gospel message to us. Our mission right now is welcoming offering biblical hospitality to groups of migrants. From Wednesday to Friday, every other week, the parish opens itself to welcome them. It is the mission, it is a community mission, as well as a parish mission. And lay and religious have their roles. We work together in very, very good partnership. Personally, I help with simple things. With the welcoming of the immigrant, I am helping with the COVID testing, or serving meals, drying dishes, and just be present at shared meals with the refugee families that we receive. It is a great joy to see their faces relax. The children begin to play after a few hours of their stay in Chaparral. It is also very inspiring to see the commitment of all the volunteers from the parish and the sisters who make all of this possible. This mission inspires and nourishes our prayer and builds up communion between us. And for me, I was reflecting and praying, seeing at the time, at Easter time, I could see the passion, the Good Friday lived in the suffering of the migrant in their journey. And I also could see the resurrection in all the concrete and mutual acts of love between the volunteers, the migrant, all of us building a community, building a communion.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, and I can also add that Anne Francoise was a former provincial of the US province. And now we go to another former provincial, which is Sister Therese Margaret. Unfortunately, she will not be able to, so she sent her answers to the question about what is your community and where you belong. And so I will read it right now. I hope Therese is listening. Sister Therese says, "Hello, everyone. I am Sister Therese Margaret." She's there. That one. Speaking to you from Worcester, Massachusetts, where we are 5 RAs from 4 continents. Sister Nula, where is she? There with the star. Sister Nula Cotter is our superior and provincial treasurer. She and I are both from US, United States. Sister Evelyn Therese is from Europe. Sister Beatrice Taksuba from Burkina Faso and West Africa is a student at Assumption University, sponsored by our brother Assumptionists. And the last sister is Sister Vicky or Victoria Kiwale, on sabbatical from Tanzania, East Africa. So that makes quite an interesting and colorful mix of Worcester community. The diversity of our community gives me great joy at different moments of our life together. In prayer, both liturgical and personal. In work, preparing an activity, learning a new hymn or song, sharing our meals, which are animated and quite joyful. And not to forget the ordinary everyday work of housekeeping. There are also those moments where compassion and sympathy are called for and lovingly given. Moments of family losses or death, sickness, or disappointments. It's all part of our Assumption life in Worcester together when we, sisters, with our amas and lay friends, try to bring Christ's love and justice into our small sphere here in Worcester. Okay, that is what Sister Teresa's Margaret's introduction of herself. With that, we go to our next section of the interview. So now we return to Sister Maria Estela. Wait, are you going to? Okay, thank you. We go now to part 2.
Yes,
of
we go now to part
Kwentuhan. Chapter 20 in her biography is entitled The Season of Love, covering the years of 1888 to 1898 in the life of Marie Eugenie. These were the years following the death of a very dear sister to Marie Eugenie, Mother Therese Emmanuel, who is a friend and a sister who has been with Marie Eugenie from the beginning, a co-foundress. These were the years following the death of Marie Therese Emmanuel, and the person who had been with Marie Eugenie from the beginning, the passing also of Father Dalzon, who had been always fatherly and friendly throughout the years of growth and trial, and to whom Marie Eugenie could simply say, "He loved my soul." A new emptiness was being hollowed around her as very close friends were beginning to go and were gone. And her own body was failing too. She suffered from it, even as she recognized that it was a part of life. She wrote after a retreat, "In order to do the work of Jesus, stripping is necessary. The release of everything." Sisters, how did you understand this? I will read. The sanctity of Marie Eugenie was her total focus on God. "My gaze," she said, "is constantly fixed on Jesus Christ and the extension of his kingdom." She did not stop at secondary causes. The purity of intention, the practice of the presence of God was a powerful means of keeping her focus. So, Sister Maria Estela, I will begin with you again. At your age right now, you must have had experience of losing loved ones and experiencing the fragility of good health and vulnerability of life. Is aloneness, loneliness, solitude an experience for you? How did you navigate your feelings? Living in a community of sisters of all ages, mission, and personalities. Okay, so Maria Estela, are you ready?
At 84, I am living what Saint Marie Eugenie lived in the last stage of her life. I experienced the reality of loss. LOSS. Ay, Diyos mío. loss of loved ones, as I saw the Lord call dearly beloved family friends one by one. Friends, my classmates, my childhood friends, sisters, one after the other. But what caused me is the loss of energy. Every day I experience increasing weakness of body, bodily pain, chronic fatigue, loss of appetite to eat. I have to force myself to eat because the doctor told me I will die if I do not eat. If I had a choice between sleeping and eating to keep me alive, I will choose sleeping. Every day I experience slower movements, loss of equilibrium. I have to use a cane even in my bedroom. And in the past months, I experienced something very, very painful, very mortifying, loss of hearing, which affects my interactions. By nature, I am a very sociable person, but it's difficult to interact when I cannot hear what others are saying. What do I do in these moments of vulnerability? I make a deliberate choice to continue to live, to keep on contributing to our community life by my presence. Although it's very difficult to follow conversation at table, I try. I try to listen and enter into what is being shared. Try to contribute to the community, most especially by my prayer life. The regularity of prayer is something that gives meaning to me at this stage of my life. Also, I live with younger, energetic sisters, so I need to be patient and humble to receive corrections.
Very good. Thank you, Maristela. That's beautiful sharing. And now we can go to Maria Paz. Sister Patsy, your turn to tell with us your experience.
I think we have much similarities with Stella also.
Okay,
But at this
good.
point of life, at this point in life, I feel like Saint Marie-Eugenie, the hand of God, stripping me little by little of the gifts that He has given me and which I value most: physical strength, eyesight, hearing, and many others. At first, it came to me like a surprise, and I felt annoyed. But it did not take long for me to realize that God was purifying me and preparing me for my final encounter with Him. Seeing my health visibly diminishing little by little and allowing me to focus more on Him.
Oh,
Giving the time of before I used to give time to activities, now it's more being than doing. And I have more time for adoration, meditation, listening to others, listening as much as I can. Like Stella, I cannot listen much, but I try to put my ears to them and lend my ears and smile at what they say. Make them happy. That's why living in the presence of God now has become more realistic and tangible. I feel God's presence more than ever talking to me. My mission has widened from local to global, embracing the intentions of the whole church and the present realities of today. That's my life now. Thank you.
Very beautiful and edifying, Maria Paz. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. How about Soror Cecilia? Have you ever felt lonely?
Yes. I remember that the most painful loss I had was not when I was a sister. I was still studying music at Eastman.
Louder.
I was still studying at Eastman in the States, or except when I got the news that my father had passed away. And I knew that I could not go back to the Philippines because we had no money for that. And I really loved my father. It was most painful. As a sister, looking back, is the fragility of my body that I'm always confronted with. I remember that they discovered that I had a brain tumor and needed surgery. It was so complicated that the operation on me happened 3 times until the bleeding stopped. But before this operation, something inside of me told me, like a light in my heart, do not fear. You will be all right. I knew I would be all right. Grace saved me from my fear. Recovery was slow. It was all right. 2 other medical health crises happened. Cancer, my colon, a heart condition, as they saw, a tear in my heart upon examination, and a general loss of strength. Again, I will say that what helped me, I experienced grace in my heart, and the fear disappeared. There was a constant assurance you are all right.
Thank you, Sarah. That was really very beautiful. And I live that with you. Okay. Now we go to Anne Francoise.
I really, hearing the others speak, I can relate to what was shared by my 3 companions. It's an experience of getting older and getting weaker. But talking about losses, when you are 90, of course, there are losses. I have lost my siblings, 2 of them years ago, but one of them, my younger sister, 14 years younger than I, died 2 years ago, and we were very close, and I felt it very much. And as the others said, friends and relatives, and especially at my age and living outside of my country, very few people, if any, share similar life memories. That's why it's so nice to have Sister Laurie here, because we were in the novitiate together. So we can, when we meet, we have like, oh, remember this and this. But here in the States, I don't have the same childhood memories or youth memories than anybody else. The songs, the movies, well, it was different in France, of course. So that's a way also to be strict, as they said. But I have to say that I do enjoy very much being part of an international, intergenerational, intercultural community. I'm listening to sharing the experiences, reflections, the passions of the sisters younger than I is very life-giving. And it's a call to conversion, to continual conversion. It's like the joy of grandparents who, the joy of grandparents is their grandchildren. And I think it's true too in religious life. It's my joy to see others younger than I and their life, their growth, their interest. And that's part of, and I also enjoy very much the support of community in prayer life. My Assumption liturgical prayer, adoration together, this is a real strong support. And it's a message of God for me.
Okay, and that was so beautiful. From the loss, you also shared some gains that go with it. And now we go to Sister Therese. I think Sister Therese, this would be her answer. In my family, I was the eldest, and now I am alone, having lost my 3 younger sisters, who I pray are now with God. Over the years as a religious, I have witnessed wonderfully holy deaths, surrounded by such faith and trust in God's fatherly care that one could almost speak of joy. Oh, it's like what Anne-Francois said. As for aloneness and solitude, yes, I do experience them at moments. Having taught in a classroom for a good part of my life and with other ministries, I now find myself with more time to read more, to follow courses on Zoom, to correspond with friends, to have a hobby, and to be assured of daily adoration. This is Sister Therese speaking. Having to give up driving with the dependence that led to was hard. That led to was hard. Hard because I cannot now help with necessary trips and errands, living as we do in a part of the city with no public transport. My days have a different rhythm now, just as Marie Eugenie knew. Like her, I am trying to be grateful for all the goodness and kindness which is mine daily. There are 3 words which I find so helpful for maintaining my inner peace. They are, this is the rest saying, here, Here, now, always. God's love is available to me here in this place, now, in this moment, and always in eternity. Oh, sisters, it is so beautiful. That was Sister Teresa's sharing. We now go to part 3. So, on this part of our interview, we read in Mother Marie Eugeni's biography that at 77 years of age, her strength visibly diminishing. In 1894, Father Odelang, the ecclesiastical superior, delicately proposed to her that she give over the responsibility of the congregation. She understood at once and she responded, have I reached that point? When Father Odelang replied, Ma Mère, it is the wish of the Archbishop. Marie Eugenie answered, oh, if it is the Archbishop's wish, then I have nothing more to say. Obedient to the church, she stepped down from her duties and handed in her resignation in a very simple and free act of will, since the church asked it of her. That was her way of completing her work. She had a great devotion to the will of God. In whatever joy, difficulty, or sorrow that came to her, she recognized not just the presence of God, but the love of God. So, sisters, I am sure that you too must have had your share of acts of obedience in your life. So, what was the experience for you? What helped you? And what was most difficult? Are you ready? So, Maria Stella?
As a junior sister in the 1960s, I was assigned to teach introduction to philosophy to fourth-year high school students. That was not my major subject. So, and because I was a person who wanted to do things well, to keep my reputation of always doing things well, I was fearful that I will fail. And so, I told Mother Guadalupe, who was my superior at that time, look, Mother, I'm scared. Why, can I teach something else? And she told me, just pray, Sacred Heart of Jesus, I place my trust in you. Period. She did not even offer to give me reference books. I mean, I had to manage. Fortunately, it was not so bad. And now, even now, my students remember our lessons in logic and epistemology and all those things. In 1969, I was working full-time in Assumption, Iran. And my best friends were Luisa Hervas, Cecilia Agustina now, and Loreto, who was assigned in San Lorenzo. And we were enrolled in De La Salle University. We were the first students of the newly opened graduate school. We were enrolled in a master's degree in education, major in guidance and counseling. It was something that interested me so much, and I had many plans to set up a formal guidance program in Assumption because, guidance for us meant being with our mistress of class. But this one was something else with all the psychological tests and all. I was so excited to do that. Then Mother Natividad, who was a superior, called me, Sister Estela, you are going to be the principal of Assumption Iran. Oh, my dear. Assumption Iran at that time experienced something very painful. We failed in the preliminary survey of PASCO. And I had to be the principal to do something about it. So I told Mother Natividad, look, you sent me to De La Salle to take up guidance and counseling, and now you are assigning me to be an administrator. And she simply said, Sister Estela, we want an administrator with the heart of a guidance counselor. Anyway, I like that, but it still did not make the work lighter. That I went through it, and then with the help of my tutor, who was tutoring me by telephone from San Lorenzo, the administrator par excellence, Sir Maria Carmen Reyes, we were able to pass the PASCO that year. Yeah? In all of this, what helped me? What helped me was that I believe also in myself. I felt that I was talented in many, many ways. And my mother used to say that, you are my best girl. But what helped me was I looked at my superiors as my mother. So I was able to express to them what I felt. I never kept anything. And being able to express and putting into their hands what I felt and what I wanted gave me inner peace so that in the making of the final decision, I saw this is God's will and I will do it. Then if you ask, what was the most difficult in those long years of school administrator? After my sabbatical of 10 months in Israel, when I finished my term as provincial, I was sent to the Holy Land for 10 months, and I love it. The scriptures and theology and all. And it was a high-powered group of retired superiors general and provincials. And we took the courses without the problem of having to take examinations. No? So that's why we enjoyed it so much. And we did all kinds of biblical excursions and all. So again, I was so happy. And Claire Teresa, who was the Superior General, called for volunteers to go to Kenya to teach the junior sisters. So I offered. And I said, I have something to offer them, scriptures and theology. And I was accepted to go to Kenya. But I was assigned to be headmistress of Kambaa Girls High School, succeeding Sister Mary Fidelis, who was there for 11 years. It was a time when Kenya was going through a political turbulence with Moy, something like Marcos. and people against authority, burning schools, burning cars, you know. But I experienced that. But I went through it, and God was with me. But after 4 years, I told my superiors, I intended to stay longer in Kenya. But if this is the assignment, I am going home. So I went back to the Philippines.
So you had your will.
Oh my goodness. Long years as provincial, 1979 to 1988. I was so tired that I would tell the Superior General, I want to die. I want to die now because it's the only way to rest. And I quoted our national hero, Jose Rizal, morir es descansar. Of course, they would say, no, we'll change your assignment. But it was still administration. So that's it.
Thank you.
Acts of
Very
obedience.
colorful. Good. Okay. Well, thank you, Stella. Very colorful sharing. Now we go to Sister Maria Paz. Okay, what was your own experience? Obedience and difficulty, and that what helped
So
you.
interesting to hear Stella, but I feel embarrassed to say mine. Well, since childhood, my parents inculcated in me a deep trust in God, loving Father. Deus providere, God will provide, still rings in my ears when I confronted anxiety and helplessness. On many occasions, I faced the challenge and lived it. Obedience in assumption is like that. Like when they told me to start the foundation of PASI from scratch with nothing, literally nothing on hand, and with no preparation for the role I had assumed. Principal, registrar, teacher, class advisor, janitor, and gardener, my knees trembled. I was only 37 years old, but the words Deus providevit, God will provide, kept coming back to my mind. And it helped me to obey in spite of the unsurmountable difficulties. Looking back, I can say it was only that trust in a loving Father that brought me there. Because a loving Father never fails, and He did not fail me. Now, when you look back to the school in Pasig, it is blooming, and it's the only Catholic school in the town. Is that not wonderful? My God, that's
And also now headed by ladies, isn't it? Okay, thank you, Maria Paz. Wow. It's one very brilliant and very strong will of obedience. Now we go to Cecilia, Mother Eloisa. Your turn.
I remember this experience as a young sister when I was in Assumption, Iran. I was teaching, and the mistress of class of the 4th year in Assumption, I felt that I had reached the peak of my teaching, being a sister, a teacher, and the mistress of class of the 4th year. And then I found out at the end of the year, when the principal called me and told me that I will no longer be the mistress of class of the 4th year, but I was going to teach grade 4. I felt red in the face, and I did not know what kind of face to put on. But before my students, some of them told me, "Mother, you were demoted." Which This was what I felt. Today, looking back, I felt humiliated. It took me a while to find joy in the new teaching of the fourth grade. Today, looking back, I realized that for us to have the gift of humility, we need to experience humiliation. The virtue of humility is not given to us a silver platter. You have to undergo experiences of humiliation. And for me to be able to be humble and to realize it doesn't matter where you are placed. In the kingdom, you can be placed fourth grade, fourth year. It doesn't matter. That's not a value of the kingdom. Where you are assures you of the kingdom.
Thank you, Sarah. That is very beautiful and very deep. Okay, sharing. And now, can we go to Anne Francoise?
Okay, yes. I recognize also, as before, in the other sisters sharing, common experiences. And of course, in my life, my long life as a religious, there were several instances where I did not really understand the reasons for a change of community, for a change of ministry, for a new assignment. And when I was trying to tell my superior, but really, do you think that is not, that is the right thing because of this, because of that? And I was given reasons, and I did obey. That was, I guess, the will of God through the assignments given by the superiors. It was hard, but it's when you get older, you look back to that and you think, oh, it's not worth making a lot of that. What is really now where I feel obedience for me, it's because of my age. And at the beginning of this year, I was quite sick and eventually diagnosed with a slight stroke. It did not have too much side effects, but it did make me much weaker, and it has the most worrisome side effect was that my vision has diminished, is blurred, and as Sister Therese Margaret was saying, also I cannot drive anymore, and in Chaparral we don't have any public transportation. And so even to go to church, to the parish, or to go to any store around, or to do anything, you need a car. So I depend on other sisters. And it's hard to accept. And it's hard to accept my limitations. It's hard to accept the help of other people. I am rather an independent person. Sisters need to be with me when it's too dark. I cannot walk by myself because I don't see well enough. And so it gives me at times a great sense of powerlessness. And I bring that to prayer. And one of in a retreat recently, I had a really insight. We were praying around the parable of the Good Samaritan, and the retreat director asked us to be either the Good Samaritan or the innkeeper, and who received the sick person. And here we were all the participants of the retreat were receiving refugees and migrants. So, welcoming them like the innkeeper, taking care of them. And I thought to myself, who am I? I'm not the innkeeper. I don't have this. I'm not the Good Samaritan. And suddenly I thought, no, I am the man who is sick on the side of the road, and I have to accept to be taken care of by other people. And I was sharing that with another sister who told me, you really are like the migrant and refugees who have to depend on other people and that gave me a lot of joy to be identified. It made me understood more the plight of these refugees and migrants who are so deprived of freedom. And so that's my prayer. And it's kind of like just a learning path. I'm not yet there, but to be more accepting and to see powerlessness as a way of trusting God through trusting other people. Put yourself in the hands of God through putting yourself in the hands of other people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So,
Sister Therese.
Therese. This is a little bit confusing. Part 3, all of our life. By January of 1897, it was clear that her traveling days were over, and she had made the last trips with the joy of being with her sisters for the last time. She had said quietly, I have nothing more to do except to be good. She had said quietly, and the inability to speak worsened through the months. One day she did manage to say a word, I am looking at my Lord, and it is in looking at him that one learns how to love. This was like her last words to the sisters. And at 3 o'clock in the morning of March 10, 1898, Marie Eugenie gently passed away into God. As we look into her life, hers was an everyday holiness, constancy, perseverance, a sanctity rooted in life, in human nature, being oneself, working to become a better person, understanding human frailty of herself and others, compassion and kindness, to be loving in all circumstances and forgiving. This may be a difficult request. There is a little confusion. But as a parting word to all those who are listening now, can you share what inspires you and helps you walk the way of holiness, or simply put, dare to be holy, as Pope Paul VI spoke of her during the beatification? I will start by answering Sister Therese, taking her first before you, Maria Stella.
Shall I start?
This is now in part 3.
There are times when I feel so lazy, I don't want to do anything. At 84, after all, I am beyond retirement age. I have worked so hard all these years. I earned my rest. And that is why I love to quote Saint Marie Eugenie when she said, I have nothing more to do except to be good. It's not always easy to be good. Hers was an everyday holiness. So transposing her time to my time now, 2023, I ask myself, what helps me to walk the way of holiness? In 2015, I had the grace of making a 40 days retreat in Korea. The Yesong Maum, Heart of Jesus retreat, was the answer to my restlessness, to my longing for stillness. At the end of the retreat, I had only one desire, to make every second of my remaining years a prayer. What do I mean by that? Whatever I do, whether addressing people in a conference or picking up a piece of paper, as Teresa of Lisieux advised us, whatever I do, no matter how small, wherever I am, as long as I remember that I am in the presence of God, then my life can be a prayer. This is possible, very possible. I have been experiencing it and trying to live it for 8 years now. The pandemic itself limits my interactions with others. As I said, I am very sociable by nature. But pandemic tells us, keep away from people. And the experience of loss, of increasing daily weakness, all this facilitate my desire to keep still and to spend the day in prayer, whether I wash dishes or fold the linen, or whether I look at the flowers, it can be a prayer. And that is why I love the prayer of Saint Marie Eugenie. It is for you alone, O my God, that I am here. You are the all of my life. Although I can't always be at your feet, my life must be, in a way, a continual prayer. Prayer must be the soul of my life. May each one of my thoughts, my words, my occupations be directed towards the fullness with which I want to belong to you. It is for you alone, oh my God, that I am here. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, that was a nice thing to close your prayer with a prayer. Now we go to Maria Paz. There. Thank you.
Well, the wish I would like to ask Saint Marie Eugenie is that like her, like Saint Marie Eugenie, being her daughters, we would always say yes to God, even when it cost us right? Sacrifices and our own life. It is saying something that even painful or not painful, it is a yes to God. Just like what she said, our lives should be a constant yes to God. That is the only way to reach holiness. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that is all. But very good. Okay. So now we go to Cecilia.
These are my words. Holiness is not one or two or three moments. It is a daily life of grace. The experience of grace as fully as I can. For me, it is the constant daily prayer. The little things, the little gestures said of service, of love, is an expression of our own holiness. To God, grace sustains me in the letter, in the little things I do.
Cecilia, like what are the little things that you do?
I set the table.
Oh, setting the table for us, especially for supper. Okay, thank you. That is very nice. Okay, we go now to Anne Francoise.
Okay. I think one of the sentences of Marie Eugenie that I like is I say it in French first. Dieu est la bonté qui cherche à se répandre. I don't know. In English, God is goodness that seeks to expand, to reach out, to be given out. And since last year, I have experienced a great sense of this goodness, of the love of God for us. One of my favorite refrain in Spanish is La bondad y el amor del Señor dura por siempre. The goodness and the love of God last forever. Or in English, His great love is without end. And it's, for me, it comes all the time in my prayer. It's a call to trust. It's a call to abandon myself to God in spite of all my weaknesses, my setbacks, my struggles, and to be also more open to trust others and to trust the care of others. And this cannot happen without prayer. And my Assumption life of prayer nourishes me in that aspect. but it gives me a lot of gratitude, and I wish to continue to have a grateful heart, grateful to God and grateful to all.
Thank you, Anne. My goodness, I can already see halo around all the sisters who spoke. But now we will listen to what Sister Therese says of that. All of our life is governed by our rule of life. So, in one sense, every act is an act of obedience, she said. That's what we choose when we ask to become a religious, to make vows. When I think back on times or occasions when I was asked to do or not do something really hard, I find very few instances. There were times when, as a young nun, I was told to teach certain classes or subject matter, which I found tough generally because I felt inadequate and ill prepared, which was my judgment and not that of my superiors. My most difficult call to obey was when I was elected to be the General Council in the year 19, maybe the 70s. Not my will, but thine be done felt so right, and I repeated it over and over. Only later did I come to see what a grace that time living out of my country was for me. She was in the mother house. Besides the model of Jesus' obedience, which has helped me in the past, having superiors who truly represent the authority of Christ, who are both human and wise, living in a community of like-minded sisters of all cultures and ages, and having a friend or friends to spur me on, help me to see God's hand at work. All these are gifts to go beyond egoism and self-will, which can blind us. Like Marie Eugenie, I ask that I may begin to have a constant yes on my lips for what is now and what is to come in my future. And then she says, oh, this is after Anne-Françoise. She says, I'm sure that there are many ways of understanding and trying to follow Pope Paul's words, dare to be holy. I cannot forget that I was present at the closing of Vatican II and with Mother Marie Denise and Sister Christina Augusta, we were quite close to receiving Pope Paul's the sixth blessing. What does daring to be holy mean? Okay. At this moment now, as an old sister, I resonate with the words Sister Lori used to describe Marie Eugenie's holiness. She spoke of an everyday holiness, a sanctity rooted in daily life, in human nature, being oneself, working to become a better person through the practice of the virtues, understanding human frailty, her own and ours, trying to be loving in all circumstances, compassionate and forgiving. This is Sister Therese's answer. Then what would be our almost coming to an end? All of you who are watching, what the final? Tonight, we bring season 4 of Saint Marie Eugenie Kwentuhan to a close. But before we do that, a final word from all of you sisters, Sir Maria Stella, Sir Maria Paz, Sir Soror Cecilia, Mother Eloisa, Anne-Françoise, and Therese Margaret. The The final word is the canonization of Saint Marie Eugenie had her message. The earth is a place of glory for God. What would be a wish that you would ask of Notre Mère Marie Eugenie, Saint Marie Eugenie, as you share in her very same dream today? Can you share a favorite quotation from her that would let Saint Marie Eugenie speak to us today in her very own words? I think some of you did it already. So, Maria Stella, again, repeat what you said about the prayer of Marie Eugenie.
What I would ask our mother, Saint Marie Eugenie, is for her to pray that every sister in the congregation, our lay partners, our families, and many friends love one another. As Jesus said, God loved us first. And that every action of ours, no matter how small, may speak of God's presence in our midst as we reach out to others around us, rich and poor. And so the quotation from Mother Marie Eugenie that I would like to share is simply this: every detail of our life is the object of a divine thought which is always a thought of love. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, that is a nice quotation. Okay. Maria Paz.
I think I will repeat myself because I said it already before. See? The quotation that will help every one of us is life, because as life is difficult and it has a lot of how would I say, ups and downs in life. So what will be able to change us is the words that Saint Marie Eugenie would repeat. Our lives should be a constant yes to God, no matter what, painful, joyful, sorrowful. It has to be always yes to God, for He is a loving Father. Our lives should be a constant yes to God. That's all.
Thank you, Patsy. Okay, how about Cecilia?
You said already.
Can you repeat?
Holiness is not a matter of 2 or 3 times moments. It is the daily life of grace. The small things we do for each other. The smallest things.
Thank you. Yeah, so that we can remember. It's nice to repeat. How about Anne-Françoise? I think the one you said in French.
No, I also another quote that I like is, "My gaze is all in Jesus Christ and the extension of His kingdom." And I think it's not only my gaze. It's like if we could together live the gospel, live with and all and for Jesus Christ, and so my wish is that the world would be more imbued. Our world would be more imbued of the values of the gospel. We could live that.
Thank you. And the one of the rest, I repeat, Marie Eugenie's holiness. She spoke of everyday holiness, a sanctity rooted in daily life, in human nature, being oneself, working to become a better person through the practice of the virtues and understanding human frailty. And all the words are compassionate and forgiving. Wow. I think I am already going to say thank you very much, Sister I am very much impressed by all of your sharing. And I can see that in the screen there are many who are listening to us. And I am sure you must have not only been inspired, but also moved to do action the same as what our sisters have given us an example. Imagine, look at all of these people who are here. Wow, all of you were
so
listening.
much.
Now, time for question or what is it?
No,
So,
Lori, I take over. Okay. So,
Sister
Lori,
G.
I want to say thank you to you because you beautifully brought the life stories of our sisters in a way that for us who are listening, you know, we reached 74 participants listening to all of us tonight, and some are our sisters in community. So I want to, before we open it to a Q&A, which Cynthia is going to lead us, I would like us at this point, with everything that has been shared, just give ourselves this moment of silence. And it is a prayer that actually Maria Stella has picked up, which is, "For you alone, oh my God, I am here." We are going to have this song as our closing prayer, and it is sung by our very own Marjo, but it is in a video form, and it will bring us to places where Saint Marie Eugenie had left us as a legacy. And so this time, my dear girls, those of us who are listening and participating, have in your heart, imagine Saint Marie Eugenie is here with us and she is speaking to you. And this is her prayer that she is praying for each one of us, and for the wish that this particular day of the canonization's anniversary, she will give us a special place.
It is for you alone, oh my God, that I am here. You are the all of my life. My thoughts, my work, my affection are all for you. You are the all of my life, and although I can't always be at your feet, my life must be, in a way, a constant prayer. Prayer must be the soul of my life. May each one of my thoughts, of my occupations be directed towards the fullness with which I want to belong to you. It is for you alone, oh my God, that I am here. You are the all of my life. My thoughts, my work, my affection are all for you. You are the all of my life, and although I can't always be at your feet, my life must be, in a way, a constant prayer. Prayer must be the soul of my life. May each one of my thoughts, of my occupations be directed towards the fullness with which I want to belong to you. It is for you alone, oh my God, that I am here. You are the all of my life.
Thank you, sisters, for sharing your experiences on how it is to be holy. And thank you for showing us that daring to be holy is an everyday act. For Sister Stella, daring to be holy is receiving corrections with humility and obedience to God's will. That's hard because, like for me, I have so much pride. So it's really like swallowing a tennis ball. Sister Paz, for saying yes constantly, even when it hurts. I think it's easy to say yes when it goes our way, but the moment it does not, oh my God, it's really hard. To Sister Cecilia, that constant daily prayer and the little things you do for the service of love is an expression of holiness. That's true because sometimes loving other people is very hard, particularly the people around us, right? The ones close to us. To Sister Anna for accepting changes and abandoning oneself to God, even if it does not make sense. Because sometimes it really does not make sense, but we have to say yes, right? And to Sister Therese, when asked to do nothing, well, sometimes I think assumption women are women of action. So sometimes when we're asked not to do anything, it's hard, right? Because we have to solve problems right away. But just knowing that doing the will of God is finding God's love in the here, now, and always, even when it does not make sense. So thank you, sisters. We are all a work in progress, and your experiences have inspired us, also to, in our own ways, become or try to be holy. And as SME said, the earth is a place of glory, and daring to be holy makes this earth a place of glory for God. Thank you, sisters. And maybe some of the people have a few questions or would like to say hi to the sisters because there's so much, the chat box is so busy actually saying hi to Sister Paz and to everyone else, no? So does anybody want to like respond from the audience? Like maybe you can just unmute yourselves, no? But like some of the comments in the chat box is, thank you, beloved sisters, prayers. Sorry. Thank you, beloved sisters, prayers always. Lily Tamayo Tanaka. No? From our president, our AAA president. Hi, everyone. Thank you, sisters. And then, okay, does anybody else want to say anything? Sisters, open the chat boxes, no? Because they have a lot to say to you.
Good morning from Manila. Hi, Sister Gertrude. Sister Gertrude's my ninang in my wedding. And I'm so glad that I'm here. I'm actually here in the piano sessions of my boys, going in and out of the center. But sisters, I just wanted to say that I was listening, like going in and out on the road and then back to the house and then coming back here to the center. You can hear the piano, the sessions. But it was really, really very insightful and very the wealth of wisdom, very unexpected. Because I wasn't really going to log in, but I logged in anyway since I was just waiting here. But the gift of knowledge and wisdom and the truth and honesty that you all shared was really very, very much valuable to me, to all of us. Thank you, sister. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla.
Celia Teves. Marlo.
Anybody else want to share or say hi? From Mert Loina, listening to the sisters clarified for me the environment, the atmosphere in which we live and learn. It's difficult to describe. I can only say that we Assumption are bonded because we breathe the same air. Thank you, Saint Marie Eugenie. This is from Mert Loinas. Okay. Anybody else who wants to speak, please unmute.
Sister Therese Margaret says, thank you to Jenny and to Cynthia. And if she hopes that this format helps just to put it nicely on the slides. Thank you. She was very happy. This is Sister Therese Margaret.
Welcome, sister. Anybody else want to say anything?
I am one of the sisters I attend in. I really, I had a commitment. I had to leave soon, but I really enjoy to hear the sisters share. And I know that is Sister Anne Francois, Sister Tara, Mary Beth, Stella, all of them. I know. I just feel like I in the Philippines, but not in Jafara, And she is one of you. I really feel like they really prepare the best for me to get older. But I enjoy really much to. I intend to live at 8, but I move until almost 9. Now I had to run now because I had a commitment at the church. So I had to leave, but I really enjoy very much your deeper insight that you share, and really the reality you had lived. So it's really give me rebel for me the best to move to that direction without a faith, without fear. Thank you so much. So I'm going now because they are waiting for my trip there at church. So thank you so much. So I live in you. I'm sorry to leave you, but it's really a wonderful sharing tonight. And thank you, Gertrude and Cynthia, Jenny, and everybody. And thank you, Lori. So nice to see you in this session. I took your picture when you really wave the flag and the
Yes,
flag
at the beginning.
yeah, from the beginning. I just feel like the canonization just happened yesterday. Thank you so much and happy the anniversary of canonization tomorrow, but today in the Philippines. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Love you all.
Sister Natrang. Somebody
Yes.
sent a message in French. It's good I saw it in English because I can only read it in English, okay? So she said,
that is someone saying French. I'm sorry, I don't speak French. Whoever know can translate it.
I think she translated it. It was sent by Lourdes Brion Alba. I'm going to say it in English. At the end, we are poor. Everyone is poor. Everything we try is poor without the love of God, without the assumption, our source of faith and life. Nice. I wish somebody.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you so
Margarita,
much.
Amanda.
Okay, I'm leaving you. Bye bye. I will get me out of the church.
Bye,
I had commitment. I had to go. Okay,
Oh,
bye bye.
Anybody else want to say, Sister G? You have any last minute stuff to say, Sister G?
Well, actually, there's nothing to add, but it's just so beautiful that tonight, thanks to the holiness of our older sisters, we now have the grace to face our own holiness when the time comes for us as we are also aging. But more than that, I thank Marie Eugenie for the Assumption family spirit that she has left us, and that is we're going to actually celebrate the anniversary with this last song, which which you will see is how would I put it? Our Assumption San Lorenzo group, the meta group, did it. It is called the Assumption Medley. Of course, all of you are you are muted, but in your muted stage, if you want to join them as they do the medley, let your heart ring out. Let your heart just feel the joy that we are daughters of Saint Marie Eugenie, and we thank our Mamet for this deep grace.
Thank you.
Hail the glad echoes ring. To thee our love and true devotion, with grateful hearts we gladly bring. Hear it be engraven on our hearts till we reach heaven. And may love for you ever go with the love of God and created
Thank you again, sisters, and thank you, everyone.